you for speaking with us today at
Thank
Montreal
you.
Rocks.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So we're here to talk about the new music,
Yes.
which will be released September 22nd.
Yay.
Is that a special date for you?
Well, I was hoping for 23/09/23, but 22 will work because it's 22 close to 11/11. I'll take it.
I noticed. What's your thing with it's the messenger number, it's the lucky number, it's the angel number?
I just love numbers. I don't know. It feels like there's a sign somewhere sometimes hidden, and I know that there's a lot of belief around angel numbers, and I do like that concept of having time just direct you and let you know if you're doing good or not, if there's something to question, if there's a message that might be sent. So they've been just around all the time. I notice them a lot.
Okay. So when you see a certain number, you're at the right place at the right time?
I ask myself, does this feel right? And when it does, I'm thinking it's a sign that I'm doing things right. And if there's something that feels wrong, then I pay attention to maybe I shouldn't be doing this, or so I take it as a reminder to connect with what I'm doing at the moment.
Well, also, people don't realize in music, there's numbers, it's all patterns.
Yeah.
It's numbers.
It is.
It's the beat, it's whatever, the tempo and all that.
It is.
Yeah. So you did release a few singles, like Cheers.
Feeling like a plant.
No, there's
Mind at Ease.
Mind at Ease. There was a few that were pre-released, a few singles.
Yes.
So, yeah, the Feeling Like a Plant one. Yeah, this album is very in touch with nature, I find, more than the others, no?
Absolutely. It's the centerpiece of it all. It's also the parallel between the plants and us. The fact that when you pay attention to the way a forest works or the way we interact with the plant, I felt like there were a lot of messages that applied to us as well. So, for example, when I spent a lot of time with my plants during the pandemic, they were my little buddies.
I did see an interview. I think you did a Zoom or something, and you have a lot of plants in your apartment.
I do,
right?
never enough though,
No?
but yes, I do.
Okay.
It's a little jungle,
Yeah.
And I noticed how whenever there's a new leaf coming out, how excited we get. It's just seeing it pop in the morning. I'm so happy. I just want to give it love and light and water. And I felt like the way we treat ourselves and our own evolution is not equal, in the sense that we sometimes have an accomplishment or we do something and we're already on to the next. There's no real time to celebrate or acknowledge or pat ourselves on the back sometimes. And also, it's like when you see the leaf coming, you're not screaming at the plant, why aren't you a tree yet? But us will be like, oh, why am I not there yet? How, so patience. I wish we could take a little more time and appreciation for our own evolution and the way we also evolve as a society. I think there's a lot of room for more kindness. And same for the trees. When you look at a forest, you see trees one next to the other, but really they're all connected underground. And I think we're the same as humans. We seem to be all separate and one little entity moving around, but really we are connected. And I can tell that I'm being fed by my ancestors that are the profound, bigger trees and deeper roots that did all this work for us to get the sunlight and to get the nutriments that we need to blossom properly.
Yes. I have so many questions and things, as I was listening to the album, and also it's called Our Roots Run Deep.
Yeah.
And Back to the Trees and the Roots. And I was talking about your music with a friend recently, and I said, Dominique is a kind of person that seems like she's not just in touch with her ancestors, but she's carrying them with her all the time, and she's aware of them. Yes, but not just in that sense.
Yeah.
The style of the album and the style of your music, it's all your voice looped over and over and over, multi-layers of your voice, right?
Yeah.
And then as I was listening and analyzing and thinking about it, I said, it's not just her voice though. It's all these voices are her, but they are her ancestors. Is that what you were going for, or?
Yes, 100%.
Okay,
They're with me. Yeah.
They're with you. It's your voice. It's their voice.
Yeah.
And it's so. There's generations and layers and layers and layers, and I listen to it with headphones on, which I think it's
Meant
really,
to.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like you're really in my ear, like, and you talk a lot about voices in your head.
I do.
So I'm all over the place, but yeah.
No, 100%. I think it's a mix between all the voices of the ancestors and all the lessons that they've taught me,
Yeah.
combined with all the voices that we do have in our heads, the different people living. You know, there's a thing called internal family system,
Okay.
and it's a notion of what if all the people in your head, they're like a family, and the goal is for that family to be functional. You know, and amongst all these people, you have the little kid in you, you have the anxious part of you, you have so many people talking, but amongst all these people, there is a core self, and that core self is the one that's connected, and it's connected to all the ancestors, to everything around you, and this is where I try to make my music from, and give room to the ancestors as much as possible, and if I may say, channeling them as much as I can by acknowledging their teachings, practicing gratitude for everything that they allow me to be today, because I wouldn't be here today without everything they built. I wouldn't be here even without my mom and my grandma and my great-grandma, and it goes further on until the end of times.
So you knew your grandmother?
I do.
Did you know your great-grandmother?
I did not, but I feel like I do through the stories that they've taught me.
Okay.
So, and that's where the collective memory and the family memory feels like something I really want to cultivate and make sure that we can keep as much as we can. I can take as much as I can by asking questions and asking my mom, how was it? Like, how was your grandma? You know, what did you get from her? What, you know, and that felt like really enriching to see how some things are just in the DNA in a way, in even the spiritual DNA, and it's definitely present.
So that's the thing, though. You ask your mother about your grandmother, great-grandmother, but you're getting like their version of her. Sometimes I've spoken to relatives and asked about certain people, and they'll tell me a different story, right?
Yeah, for sure. But I feel like we can still feel them. Aside from the stories that are being told, I do feel like there is something that connects us to them in a way that doesn't have to be spoken necessarily, or that you can just feel.
Yeah. A lot of it is inside, and you can't explain it.
Yeah, I think.
Or like you have certain tendencies. Like we try to analyze things like, you know, evolution, psychological, DNA, whatever. But there's things that are just, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, my great-grandmother was left-handed, or you know, like little things that you didn't notice or know.
True.
Yeah. So when you were born in Montreal?
Yes, born and raised.
But your parents are from Haiti?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you been to Haiti?
I have.
Okay.
It's beautiful, beautiful country. The nature, the vegetation is amazing. The people are amazing. Not to preach my own, toot my own horns, but I do feel like there is a specific strength in Haitian people that is just inspiring when you pay attention to this history, to the way they've been able to keep the culture alive, all the art that comes out of it, the colors that is present in the country, very vibrant, very joyful, very warm, great food.
There's a large Haitian community in Montreal.
Definitely, yeah.
You said you don't want to toot your own horn. I noticed a lot in this album. You do a lot of the tracks start off very slow with no instrumentation, and then suddenly boom, like blaring of horns. In New Beginnings and a few of the tracks.
Yeah.
So I don't think you've done that in a lot of your other albums, have you?
No. That was a way to be more authentic and honest about how I build my songs actually, and the fact that as we go, things build. That notion of building something, of moving forward and trying to elevate, that's by adding, you know, the more the merrier in a way. So
I wrote something about that. Like, so yeah, you do, like, you love to take your time. There's always a slow build, and it's this, like, a deep understanding of nature, and like that slow build. It's you have this. Like you said, taking your time, like the way nature takes its time, right? The way a plant will grow or a tree will grow, or 9 months for a child to be born and all that. So nature takes its time, but we don't.
Yeah, and I want to take my time.
Yes, but you're hyper aware of that. Like, I saw you at the Jazz Fest, and even the songs you sang, you don't just come out belting it out. There's always a very gradual building up.
Yeah.
So that's hard to do, though. Like, everyone just wants to come out and, right?
Let it all out.
Yeah.
Well, to me, luckily, it's pretty easy and it feels natural. To take my time. I feel like the nature and I were in sync in a way. Like, I appreciate its rhythm and feel connected to that rhythm way more than the rhythm of the city, for example. I feel like there's a pace that doesn't feel natural to me.
Okay, but how did you get there? Because I don't know, honestly, a lot of people that are like that. I tried, like I said, during the pandemic, I started walking in nature. I started photographing nature. I still walk every night. I go to the forest every night.
Nice.
Now it's getting darker and darker.
I know. So fast.
Huh?
So fast.
It's kind of sad. But, not everyone is in touch with nature. Were you always like that? Or did it...
I always felt connected to nature. I know people judge, but I'll admit it, I loved hugging trees because I felt just, you are so huge, and I felt so little next to it, and seeing how tall some trees can be, way bigger than any house we built around. There's something strong about that. And meditation in my life has definitely been something that put me in sync with myself and with my surroundings, and to just take the time. I'm lucky that I've always been pretty patient because I know things come when they have to, and that has helped me not feel anxious so much about what's happening, or just trusting and being patient has brought me a lot in my life.
I'm sorry, because you said, every time you say that, I wrote here in my notes, you love to take your time. You're the epitome of trust in the universe, deep understanding of nature, water, earth, air, fire, all the elements. I am a tree, I'm a plant. So you're so in touch with all of this and the seasons. And so you made this album during COVID time, during lockdown?
I did it after.
Oh, after?
Yeah, but it was my personal lockdown because I got a back problem that locked me in my bed for about a month. We had to cancel shows. So that felt like life also saying, calm down. You are so excited, like, yay, pandemic is over. And then it's like, no, don't rush. And that was a pretty big shock at first, but it forced me to acknowledge my body more, because I was very aware of my mind, my spirit. I spent a lot of time on it, and I felt like it was stronger than anything else. Body didn't matter, because if the mind is strong, it will heal anything. That's not true. That's actually not, for me it's not.
We disconnect sometimes because we're so focused on something else, and we neglect our physical health.
Completely.
Or there's people that go exercising every day. I worked out, I did 10,000 steps, I did this, I did that, but they feel like crap.
Yeah, and same where I meditated every day, I'm in sync, but my body feels like crap. Why is that? Because I didn't connect the both of them, and I really neglected the importance of physical health.
Just finding the balance.
Yes, 100%. And that felt like something I had to pay attention to. And that period that I was stuck in bed is where I got a lot of time to think about it and to acknowledge what is physical pain, how do I navigate with this new form of pain, because I knew psychological pain, I knew heartache, I knew all that, but I never paid attention to the physical aspect. So that was a huge one for me.
So you were like stuck on your back, basically.
Stuck, hurting, and then it became a challenge to find gratitude through it all. And being able to do that also helped me reconnect my mind and my body together, because it was, okay, you're grateful for all the work you've done, you're grateful for your ancestors, for the privileges of your life, but did you take the time to be grateful for this body that you're in, for the fact that it takes you places, it allows you to walk for hours? I took it for granted. the same way I took a lot of things for granted during the pandemic. So taking nothing for granted really brought me back.
It's funny because sometimes, well, I'm a woman of a certain age or whatever, and you look in the mirror and you're like, oh, there's lines or there's this or I look tired or I'm always focusing on external.
You look beautiful.
Thank you. That wasn't where I was going.
But it's the fact.
But I'll take it. And I said this to a friend of mine, and I've been saying it a lot. And I'm saying it to strangers. I just said it to somebody, a stranger, recently. She had, self. When you insult yourself, what's the term?
Insult yourself?
Yeah, when you're like, I'm so fat.
Oh,
I'm so
yes,
self-deprecation.
yes.
And I'm like, stop saying it. Like, why do we do that to ourselves? Why are we hard on ourselves instead of saying this body, brought me all these years. This body brought me here. This body allowed me to create art or whatnot. We're like focusing on things that are so counterproductive.
Absolutely.
Negative.
Yeah.
Like you said, like your back went out, but we are not grateful for our bodies. And I think women especially are so hard on our bodies in so many ways. Because
society taught us this way for sure. And advertisement did not help, and Photoshop did not help.
No, but they wouldn't sell all these creams and lotions and surgeries and...
Yeah. That's the point.
Exactly what I mean.
100%. And when sometimes I catch my friends talking this way to themselves, and every time I feel like I'm talking to a part of them, one of the voices in their head. I'm like, don't talk to my friend this way.
Yes.
And if it's something you would never tell a friend, then you should.
That's exactly. My
be your friend.
She has 2 teenage daughters, and she was saying something about her face. Oh, look at my face. Look at this. Look at this. And I said, how would you feel if somebody said that to your daughters? And why do you talk to yourself that way?
100%.
Let's go get into my mind at ease. So, because we have those voices of self-doubt and negativity, and where does that come from? Like, I mean, I don't want to say anything bad about my mom, but my mother was in that generation of always having to look perfect and having to have her hair done. So my mother always looked fabulous, and she would always be like, don't go out like that, don't wear torn jeans, don't do, there was a lot of pressure on looking a certain way. So my critic voice comes, I guess, from my mom in a way, but I'm sure her mother did it to her, and et cetera, et cetera. So where does I love my mind at ease, because you're like, bad thoughts, like, get away from me. But how do you do that, really? Do you?
I do, but it's a process that I've learned to develop, I think a lot of these voices are here to speak about our fears. Our fears are the pain that we might have, the hurt that might still be there. So I realized that the best way to calm them down is already by acknowledging them. Because if we compare them to people, nobody wants to be ignored and shunned. It's okay, you have a message, you're hurting or you're stressed or you're scared. Come, I'm gonna listen to you for a minute, and then the self that is doing great is gonna be able to say, okay, now I've heard you. Maybe you had a message for me of something that needs to change in my life, or maybe you were completely, just going off fear, and I'm now gonna let you be with that, and I'm gonna move along with my day. As in, one of the homework that I had with my life coach that I love is, who am I without this thought? What would I be doing? So I always take a moment to sit with the thought, see what it has to say exactly. What do you want from me? Do you want something, or are you just distracting me from? And then I notice, okay, you're stressing out because you didn't prepare enough for the show. So who am I without this thought? I am a creator who loves her job. What would I be doing? Well, I'd be working on that show so that I'd stop stressing about the fact that I didn't work. And then it puts me into action. So moving towards the action that might be needed to calm down that thought. Or maybe I'm feeling stressed, maybe I need a walk. Maybe I need to paint. What do I need to do right now to feel better and reconnect with a part of me that is not being exploited to its fullest potential? The core that has so much to do, that has so much to say, that has so much light and energy. So it's about stepping back into yourself and stepping away, leaving that part of you that is stressed out. You're sitting on that chair. You can chill here for a minute. I'm gonna work. Maybe we'll round back in a bit and you'll be like, oh wow, that felt great, thank you. So treating them like different people helped me a lot.
Yeah, that's harder than it sounds.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm listening to you, I get it. My problem too is like, I get things. I read a lot of books, I listen to the podcasts, I follow, I don't know, do you know who Gabor Mate is?
Yes.
I love him, a lot of great authors. Do you like Rick Rubin? Did you read his book?
Yes, absolutely.
I read all these books and I'm like, yes, but then I allow like the negative thoughts to take over more often than not.
Yeah.
Because we're emotional creatures, and some more than others. We're emotional creatures, and sometimes we're triggered.
Yeah, there is a lot of triggers out there.
Ça va?
Oui. On est en entrevue. Je te vois. Sorry.
It's okay. Well, hopefully we can edit it. So we're supposed to talk about the album, but yeah.
Well, it is part of the album.
No, it is.
All this
because
is,
it's the process. Like I said, I wrote a lot of notes, and the album goes a lot of different places. It's not just nature and trees and stuff. I mean, I was questioning the song about the fire, the burning one, which is the one about, where is it?
Or Let It Burn. It's an interlude, yeah.
Yeah, you do a lot of those. So you like short little in-between songs, right?
Yeah.
So what was the thing about the fire? What were you? I know you're dealing with the elements, right?
Yeah.
Oh, even the one Hide from the Drama where you want to go underwater. So yeah, I noticed a lot of like nature elements.
Yes,
right?
for sure. I feel like everything that has to do with nature, or the metaphors that have to do with nature, if I'm able to twist something into a metaphor that's connected to nature, then to me it means that it makes sense, or that it has more. That everything,
applies
exactly.
It applies.
It applies. And when it comes to fire, for example, in the Red album, in Stay Tuned, there was definitely this notion of lava, the idea of fire burning, but the kind of fire that burns everything on its path and leaves a ground that is more fertile than before. So to me, that's what revolution is. Sometimes we do have to burn some things to the ground or question old notions and just say, hey, you know what? The world of the future doesn't need that anymore, so you're out,
Start from scratch.
Yeah, but acknowledging there's also a lot of vitamins in the ground,
I have a picture in my phone I want to show you, but I'll show you after. And I walk through the forest. Sometimes they chop trees down. The trees that are diseased, they'll have to chop them. And there's this one of my favorite trees. It's just a stump now, but in the stump there's leaves sprouting out.
Oh, I love it.
And it's so beautiful. And every time I see it, and I know it sounds cheap. I'll show you the picture later. It's that metaphor of like they chop this tree down, but there's still life underneath that's still trying to come out.
Yeah, it's everywhere. The same when I see a little plant growing through the cracks of cement. It's like, you go, plant.
Yes. I see that often. There'll be like a cracked sidewalk and there's like one purple flower coming out.
I love it.
And I'm like, you go, girl.
Yeah.
Right?
Come on out.
Yeah. I think that's such a great metaphor for people too.
Yes, for sure.
Like people that grow up in really difficult situations, but they still somehow
get to bloom.
They bloom or they thrive, regardless of what happened. Bless you.
Thanks.
The ragweed is bad this year. Speaking of plants.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
I know. I used to hang my washing outside, but then I heard somewhere that if you have a lot of allergies, you shouldn't hang your washing outside because the pollen gets trapped in the
Makes
fabric
sense.
of your clothes. I never
thought about that
right?
either. Never.
So now
that makes perfect sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we were like, why are we so like sneezy? And I'm like,
now you know.
So now don't hang, if it's ragweed, don't hang your clothing outside. I don't know if you do or not.
No, it makes sense. No, I don't anymore. But yeah, I'll take it. Thank you.
A tip for today.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to ask you at this point. I have a lot of notes. We're going all over the place. Okay. So now you're going to start touring the album very, very soon. You're going to start here in Montreal.
Starting here and then off to Europe.
Yeah.
And so many places. I'm so excited.
They love you in Europe.
I'm so lucky. They are amazing with me. They have welcomed us so well every time. It's very warm and welcoming. People had warned me, they're a very difficult public. Don't be too phased if,
Yeah.
That was not my experience at all. People have been very open to the concept, very open to the notion of no clapping between songs, super respectful.
Really?
Yeah, it was...
Do you ask for no clapping in between songs?
I do.
I didn't know that.
I do, yes. Well, I inform them that there will be very little room for applause for a few reasons, but the main one being that I do wish for people to be in a bubble with us.
Okay.
I want people to just sit down, take it in. This is a gift that I want to give you, and you cannot thank me every 4 minutes. You know what I mean?
It interrupts the flow.
It does. And that's why the music never stops. So all the songs are meshed together in a way that it's one long entity from beginning to end. The same way the 3 albums are connected, and the same way I want us all to be connected throughout this moment. So to me, the no applause request is definitely an important one to get in the zone when I'm singing, and to make sure that the energy I'm trying to share through the show is uninterrupted.
Okay. Yeah, you did what, 2 or 3 songs in the Jazz Fest this year?
Yes, I did too.
You did too.
Yeah.
I was very far away.
Oh no.
There were so many people.
It was crazy. So many people. It was insane.
I don't like being in very crowded places.
Me neither.
And how do you feel like performing for so... Does it make a difference if there's like 50,000 people or 500 people? Does that make a difference? Or 50 people?
Surprisingly, not really.
No?
It feels the same in a way. There is preference for small spaces so that it can be intimate. I like to be able to really feel the people and look at them, see them and feel the connection properly. More is harder, but it's still possible, because at the end of the day, it remains one person next to one person. So that notion, it'll be the same if it's 1 or 1 million. So it works either way.
I know I've spoken to a lot of artists, and they always say they need to find at least 1 or 2 people in the crowd that they can look at or see the reaction of or feel some form of connection, or else it's just like a blur of thousands. Like
it's so many. It's hard for our brains to wrap around that many people.
Yeah, I know. I was there, and I was just like...
It's insane.
Yeah, I love small venues. In October, you have 2 shows coming up, the 17th and the 18th.
Yes.
And those are... what's the capacity of those venues? I'm not sure.
That's a great question. I think it might be between 500 and 1,000. Something like that.
I don't think I've been to that place.
It's a theater. It's actually for plays.
Oh, okay.
So it's a bit different as a venue, but that's what we wanted. We wanted to offer a context that was closer to theater than music, like the typical music venue, so that it would create a different atmosphere that is more prone to sitting down and taking it in. Because at the theater, when there's a play, people don't clap after each,
Yeah.
So that's what I want, and I feel like being there will help for that, for sure.
Okay, yeah. No, I forgot the name of it.
Théâtre du Nouveau Monde.
Okay.
Yeah. I hope you come.
I will.
Yay.
I'm going to get tickets.
Oh, we'll get you tickets.
Well, I have a good friend of mine, and she's going through some difficult times, and I was sending her your music, and she I'll show you the texts after. There was one song, and she texted me, and she's like, I listened to this over and over all day, and I can't stop crying. And I was like, I know, and yeah.
She needed it.
She needed it.
Yeah.
The one with the bad thoughts, when that one came out, I really needed that one. And I play it often when it's like, just clear your mind. I know I've meditated and stuff, and and I've read Eckhart Tolle, and he's like, just think of your thought as a cloud, and it's gonna, blow away.
Yeah.
But my clouds are big. They linger.
But the sun is stronger still, and it's always behind the clouds. Always there, waiting.
I know. What else? Like all of it. Yeah, we're just... I also find it kind of do you find this album more emotional than your other albums?
Absolutely. More emotional, more personal.
Yes.
More vulnerable, and it is a challenge being vulnerable and open and, you know, just putting yourself out there. It's like showing up as a naked soul, you know, in public. Like being naked in public is, you know,
It takes balls.
Yes, it takes for sure, but I want to have more courage. I want to be more honest and open. So,
That's my friend.
oh,
I sent
she's
her
with
the
us.
message.
Hi.
Yes, you said it's hard to be vulnerable.
Yes.
It is.
And that's why I want to try, you know, and work on that.
The best songs, the songs that make us cry, that we play at, you know, at family, you know, at funerals or weddings or, you know, special events or just for ourselves that we want to cry, are vulnerable songs.
Yeah, and I know that's the kind of song that really helped me when I was younger. You know, when I built my true connection to music, it was really teenage years, thinking the world makes no sense. I feel so alone. I feel so off. And then hearing something that resonates, suddenly you're like, oh, someone else felt the same. Someone else went through this. Someone else is.
So what were you listening to in your dark teenage years?
What wasn't I listening to?
I don't know.
Like everything from opera to System of a Down. Their harmonies, oh my God, they're amazing. The power in those songs. B.B. King with Lucille telling me the story of his guitar, and Aretha Franklin, I Never Loved a Man. Like, I had never been in love, but I felt like I knew heartache. You know? It's like, I feel you. That's painful. Like, I've never kissed a boy, but here I am feeling it.
Yeah, we're drawn to the emotion. Look, you said it's so hard to be vulnerable, but I personally believe what we're truly drawn to is the emotional aspects of a song. That's what just hits us. Like that feeling of when you hear a song and you have to stop, right?
Feel it here. Me, it's like, here is, it takes me, it draws me in a way that, and that's where I understood that this is what music means to me. You know, it doesn't mean that I need to learn exactly because I didn't study music, so there was this feeling, and there was a feeling of imposter for a minute, and then I realized, no, neither did my ancestors, and they made music. Music was there before the school that made it into a book and an explanation. So I do feel like as an artist, part of my personal responsibility or quest is to create without these boundaries that school puts, and allow myself to create freely, because it's by creating freely that you might create what will be analyzed and put in a book later. So we have to be in the forefront of that, rather than, I want to be at least, rather than being told by school what is right, what is wrong, because everything is right if it comes from the heart.
The boundaries limit us to fully expressing.
They do.
I believe. I mean, it's great to have, you know, theory and skills and lessons. But as I've said it before, when I took piano lessons back in the olden days, my concert playing, she was a Holocaust survivor from I don't know where. When I played scales, every time I made a mistake, she would slap my fingers with a ruler.
Oh Lord!
And I stopped playing piano.
No kidding.
F this, I'm not going to do it. And
if you
associate
of course, if you associate it with being hid,
I know.
For sure it will,
But you said imposter syndrome, but how crazy is it, little miss imposter syndrome with no music schooling or degree from, you know, the conservatory and whatever, and you're like closing Jazz Fest with like, how many, like 50,000 people? I don't
something
even know.
like that. It's
Doesn't
amazing.
That blow your mind?
It does. It really does. But it also makes me feel like that I'm right to believe
you're at the right place.
Yes, and that the thought that music matters more than the academia, the feeling matters more than the academia. That's a validation.
Though, but your belief in that. Belief in something.
Yeah.
If you don't believe in something, you can't sell it, and no one else is going to believe you.
True. That is very true. The best salesmen, it's because they love their product and they believe in it often. But I believe that music is emotions, and that the voice is the frequency that carries it the purest possible way, because it comes from your body. It's actually your own voice. So there's something magical to me in that notion.
I was like, why do humans, I mean, birds sing and animals, you know, wolves howl. Why do people sing?
It's a good question, but I do think that we come out of the womb singing.
Crying?
First, any sound can be music if we choose.
Why do mothers sing to their babies?
Oh, because it's so soothing. Yeah, there is something in these frequencies.
Yeah. We all want someone to soothe us somehow.
And the world is made of frequencies in all forms, from thoughts to colors. And when you look at the spectrum of frequencies and then you look on that at the visible part, it's a little tiny slice that are the colors. Everything else we don't see, we feel though.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm always wondering, what's hidden in there? Is it emotion also?
Do you have synesthesia?
I do.
Do you see colors?
I do see every music I hear, I see the color.
Okay.
And when I create as well, I see what color I'm going for and I try to put it in. And I actually paint every album before I sing it or create it.
So you're also visual. Yeah, I noticed that in everything, all your releases of singles and albums, there's like a color theme. Like it was the green. When you released New Beginnings, it was green, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then the other one, which one was purple? You had a purple one.
Oh, there is some purple and feeling like a plant.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that the video where, no, what's the last one you released? There was a video.
Our Roots. Our Roots Run Deep.
Okay, and you were all women of color, and then there was one white woman with a child in that video.
She's actually a native. She's a First Nations.
Okay.
Yeah. And with her beautiful baby.
Okay.
And she's actually a woman that I worked with. I made the music for her one-woman show. She has a play that she performed last year, I believe, or the year before. And I made the music with her. And I really loved being able to work with her because her art is so powerful. Her presence is so powerful as well as a person. And it felt like how would I say, a privilege to have her and her baby on set because
I watched the video and I was trying to get it. I was like, what's the message here? Who is this woman with the baby? Well, who is she? What's going on? I didn't know.
Yeah.
But that's okay. Not everything has to be fully defined.
As long as it's there, to me, that's what matters.
It means something to you, but it's open, like art is always open to interpretation.
100%.
I forgot which artist said that. I think it was Dave Grohl even, I'm not sure. He says something like, could be singing in an arena of like 50,000 people, everyone's singing the exact same lyrics. To every single person, it means a completely different thing.
I love that.
Right?
Yeah, it's 100%.
Right? How people interpret things.
And even when I realized, I have some friends who are musicians, and we were all sitting listening to a song. And then at the end of it, we talked about it. And that's when I realized we were all paying attention to different things. We all picked up different things from the song. Yeah. So it's the fact that even if we're all there listening to the same song, what we hear is different. You know, it's like, I have no idea what the lyrics were. I just listened to the guitar. I was listening to the rhythm. I was feeling the mood, So that to me is fascinating too. The fact that we will all be listening to the same thing, but hearing what connects with us.
It's where we're coming from, though, and it's what we're bringing to it.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I know. Is there like Is there a song that you wish you had written?
I am just grateful for every song, that exists. I feel like it's connected to me in some way, so I don't envy. I don't really have that bone.
Okay, no, I don't mean envy. I mean like lyrics that... I'm currently reading a book called Surrender. It's Bono from U2 that...
Okay.
I love reading biographies.
Yeah.
I do.
It's fun to know.
No? You don't read biographies?
I don't, but I could.
I'm just saying. It was a Christmas present. So he's talking... So I like the way that the book breaks down into each chapter is the lyrics of one particular song and the backstory of the song.
Nice.
Like where he was at the time, what was going on in his life, how the song came about, what it means to him.
Nice.
It's like, and he's a very good writer.
Yeah.
So I'm just giving an example, like as him as an artist. And my point is, what was my point?
The question was if I wish I wrote a song.
Okay, so he's talking about, now I do this to myself.
Oh, me too.
No, not just being envious. He's talking
feeling
about
like he was mine or feeling connected.
How he comes up with a song and then somehow like he's all his songs are deeply personal and a lot of them are vulnerable and they're very emotional and whatnot. and they're what's happening in his life, you know.
Yeah.
And he visits now he's like in his 60s, so he's revisiting a song he wrote like 40 years ago, and it still holds up.
Yeah,
you know
that's
what I
nice.
mean?
Yeah.
And there was something else I wanted to say, but I forgot what it was.
It happens to me all the time.
That's it.
Yeah.
Because I have
So many
too many
thoughts.
screens.
Yeah.
No, it's like when your computer is on
Yes.
and there's like 20 screens open, and you're like, okay, I need to close a few screens,
Yeah.
so that my battery doesn't
Can
run
know,
out.
yeah, for sure.
So I'll edit that.
No worries.
I think that's it. I mean, is there anything? I'm just looking at my notes, but the less I care, the more I smoke. I love that line. What?
Yeah.
Sorry.
No.
That is like, that's in number 11?
Yes.
Love
Will grow back.
Yes. Oh, that starts off with the bass.
Yes.
So you have a lot of you have electric bass and a lot of stand-up bass on this album, which I really love.
Me too.
And what were you gonna say? You were gonna say something.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Yeah, that one's very jazzy, but it's not a very long song. Like your songs are not too long, eh?
Yeah. In the shows we expand on them a lot.
Okay.
But I wanted to make sure, one of the things I picked up from the jazz album, the red one, Stay Tuned, was the song will be as long as I want it to be. If it's 10 seconds, it's 10 seconds.
Okay.
It doesn't
It's done
have
when you
to
say
be
it's done.
exactly. It doesn't have to be chorus, verse, chorus, bridge. You know, that's part of the everything, the brainwash and the formatting that I want to be free from.
Yeah.
So
Well,
if I
jazz
feel
is
like
there's no there's
freedom.
There's a great line in the Rick Rubin book when he says, "The song is finished when you know it's finished."
Yeah.
Like, you know when it's finished.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's no formula. Okay, now you know.
And even
you
if
can redo it, you can redo it, you can shorten it, you can lengthen it, you can add more guitar, more bass, more whatever, and then no, that's it.
Yeah, and I feel like there's a few artists that have helped a little bit recently, just by talking about the music and seeing where they were feeling blocked, and I realized that for many of them, they would have a great core that was very emotional, and then they would rework it so many times that they lost the essence.
Yes.
And I feel like this is what I'm trying to stay away from as much as possible. I'm gonna drop this. That's what came naturally.
Yes.
This is the song.
Yeah.
This is the emotion.
It's finished.
Yes, it's not about the aesthetics around it. And the radio says it has to be 3 minutes 20.
Yeah.
No, this is the song. This is it. And take it or leave it. But I want to be as honest and authentic to what came naturally.
But you're not trying to get a top 40 hit, and
No.
you know what I mean.
No.
That's not the goal.
Yeah, not at
The
all.
goal is creating an
Really.
artwork that's authentic and personal,
Yes.
and means something to you.
And hopefully means or feels good to someone else.
But the right people will find it, or the right people will give it. Like I said, I know so many people that I like to send. I'm a sender of music. Listen to this. Or, here.
That's
come
like
see
sending
this.
love. Yes.
Yeah, that's my love language.
Yes.
I bake. I like to bake.
Lovely love language.
So cookies and things.
Yum.
I'll give you some cookies after.
Oh, thank you.
So it's or I send people songs, or I'll at my time we did make the theory of mixtapes.
Yes.
I did make mixtapes.
Oh, I love it.
I did.
I love it. It's like playlist of today.
It's playlists. But
Yeah.
like making one cassette for like, this is how I feel about you.
Yeah.
These are the songs that are important
That's
to
so
me.
cute. I love it.
But that's not everyone. Some people buy books.
Yeah, it's true. Everyone has their own love language.
What's your love language?
I think all the love languages relate to me for sure. I do love gifting in different forms, whether it be helping out or just giving my time to listen to someone who wants or feels like they need to be heard. So quality time is definitely one of them. Taking the time and to find quality time. And words of affirmation, because I do believe in saying things. The importance of speaking up and actually verbalizing feelings in a way or another. It makes them tangible. They suddenly exist in the world as and I feel like there's taboos around speaking your truth and your heart, and I wish it were more open. People could just say exactly how they feel.
Do you remember the first time you met me? No.
I'm not. I have a horrible memory.
No, I'm putting you on the spot. It's funny.
But I feel like it wasn't.
No, it was at
La Bouteille.
And I'm just, anyways, I don't know what I am. It depends on the day. There's a song. I've got song lyrics in my head about a million different things. Oh, it's that, you know, the verb? That song. I'm a million different people from one day to the next. What's that? Dun, 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 dun. You know that song?
No, but
okay,
the lyrics make sense.
Anyway, this is my brain. I'll find the song after. Yes, I came up to you and I said, Dominique, and you said yes. It was really, you don't remember, but that's good. I'm glad. Now I'm embarrassing myself, but it's okay. So I met you and I didn't know what to say because it was just awkward. And I just said, I love you. And then I left.
Oh, thank you. I'll take it in.
But I just blurted it out because it was, and I'm not a...
That's totally my type of thing to do, by the way. Like, I do that quite often.
But I've done that to a few artists in the past where like, I don't want to bother them.
I just want to give you some love. Oh,
and I don't want to like get in your space. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Some people are like, oh, you know.
But that's really funny you say that because I think a week ago, I was walking up Montreal and I saw this dancer. She was brunching on a terrace and I love her. And I just blurted out as I was passing out, we love you, Citron Rose. She was like, oh, I love you too. And I kept walking and I totally relate to that.
That's maybe why you don't remember because I said it really quickly and then I ran out.
But I remember the feeling for sure. That's so,
I think you just
so
laughed.
sweet.
You were like, huh? And my husband was like, oh.
I'm surprised I didn't say I love you too because it would be my type to send love back because I appreciate love.
But that's what music does. Especially
connected.
Some music, it really brings out emotions.
Yeah.
And if you want to end it up, I'll just say it, and you can say whatever you like. I think I commented online about when some of the tracks, when you released the first few tracks off the album, about how it's like a mantra, you know, new beginnings. It's therapeutic, it's healing, it's inspiring, it's, you know, that's what else can you hope for?
That's what I'm hoping people take out of it for sure. And the fact that it was all loop, a lot of looping, a lot of repetition, that was the goal, for it to be a form of meditation for me and creation of mantras. Hopefully these will sink in and allow also people who, if you go through a phase where your mind is running around, if you can listen to a song that sinks you, like takes you in, draws you in a way that you get in that rhythm and that loop, and that it's a form of brainwashing you with love, you know. That's what I hope for.
I just look at it as, you know, and like for your skin you'll put an ointment, or for your throat you'll drink a tea, but for your emotions or your brain,
listen to a song.
You want to hear a song.
That is so nice. You are a writer. That's very poetic.
Girl.
I love it.
I'm not as dumb as I look.
Oh, no.
I'm kidding. That will be edited.
Yeah, don't talk to you this way.
You're right. So thank you so much for speaking.
Thank you for taking the time.
Your shows are 17th and 18th?
Yes.
And so this album is of a trilogy. So this one is September 22nd will be released?
Yes.
And then when are the other two coming out?
Knock on wood, because life does what it wants, but we would aim for 2025 so that we have a year to go through this album, 2024, and then the year after that an album would come out. But that's we also like now to take the time to take things in, because we were supposed to bring it out in March and we realized, why are we rushing? We could also choose to take our time. Nothing keeps us from that. So
I like that.
Yeah, so now we just go.
Nature takes its time.
It does, and it does things right. So we want to do the same.
Because nature knows, and if we listen to it, then
it tells us.
It gives us the right message, and we know what exactly we're supposed to do.
Yeah, it's a better clock. That's why I'm always late.
Are you late?
No, I'm not so bad, but sometimes time can be a kind of a, strange concept for me.
Yeah, time. I'm water, so I flow a lot, and sometimes I spill over, and sometimes
Same.
I think you're also water.
Yes, I am, absolutely. Are you Cancer or Pisces?
I'm a Pisces, and my husband's a Cancer.
Wow, a lot of emotions.
And my son was born, right? He's supposed to be a Scorpio, but he's born on the cusp. He's October 21st.
Ah.
So he's a balance,
Yeah.
but he's a little Scorpio because we have a lot of emotions in my house.
Yeah, for sure. That's good. That's why there's so much art.
Yeah. My husband was a painter. He did art
Nice.
in his youth.
Nice.
Now he has a real grown-up job. That's what we have to do.
Boo, grown up.
Last thing. But stop for,
As you wish.
You didn't always do music, right? You had like a grown-up job?
I did have a grown-up job. Yes, I did. No, I agree. It is a grown-up job. It was. I was working psychological support for employees and with autistic kids 2 to 4, and I burnt out.
So your background is in like psychology?
Yeah, but well, my background is in everything. I studied so many things. That's what my job was. That's where I was at that moment. But before that, I went from studying marketing, fashion design, then public relations, advanced business practices, photography. I was just thirsty for learning.
Okay.
But I always knew that my goal and my mission felt like helping people feel better, wanting people to feel better, because that's what felt right, you know. And I felt like we have such a deep impact on each other that I probably had ways I could find to do that. But turns out that the grown-up version of that job is not for me, but the musical version that is way more connected to the kid in me as well is the right place, at least for now, for me to do that.
You can't really help people, or if you're not in a good place, you can't bring...
You can't drink from an empty glass.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, good job.
For sure.
You know what? I tell this to everybody now. Like, I studied a certain thing. I studied literature, and then I did a lot of different things. I taught English. I worked in a corporate world for many years, grown-up job. And I tell the young people, I tell my son, like, study many things. Like, why do we have to learn one thing? Why do we have to be one thing?
Yeah.
And then everything will apply, everything will fall into place, right?
Absolutely.
And you can use your music skills in another field, or you can use this in another. It all blends in, you know.
It makes you unique. That's like the skill set that is you know. So that's why I do love exploring different topics and studying many things. Yeah, I agree with that.
And also, I'll try to wrap it up. I hate being in a box, number one, and my theory is, let's wrap it up with our ancestors that are watching over us, guiding us when we listen to them, is that the strongest people, the people with the most longevity, are the most adaptable people. If you can adapt, if you can change and grow and learn, then you can do anything.
That's true.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
I like Oprah.
You are the same.
That's all I got.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I
had a great time.
To flaky.
No, not at all.
I'm a firm believer in being adaptable and learning, constantly learning.
Me too. And I feel like there is so much growth potential in each of us. And what I noticed is I used to, for example, go seek help or see a psychologist or spiritual advisors when I was not feeling well. And for the first time, I'm at a place where I felt so good that I felt like, hey, you know what? I'm in such a good place. Let me go seek for more support to grow and just be better, just for the fun of growing some more while I'm good. And that feels great. Self-improvement feels great.
It does.
It's amazing.
It does.
It really, like, you feel like you're feeding your soul, but not from a place where it's starving, from a place where it's good, and it's just like, let me give you a few vegetables, you know, like make you a little stronger.
Because we look for help often when it's too late, like we're already in the ditch or we're already very low.
Yeah, we want to come out of somewhere. Yeah.
It's better preventative.
Yes.
That's a really... I never thought of it that way. Like, usually people that are feeling great will not go to therapy.
True. I feel like we should all go to therapy all the time. Why not? I mean, we go to the gym all the time. Why can't we do the same? We go to the doctors to check our pulse and check everything.
We wait for the check engine light to come on, and then your car breaks down.
Exactly. That's the metaphor. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.